32 years old, a former Marine, did 2 tours of Iraq. He'll face the veteran Juan Pablo Sanchez, who has had many fights in his career. Native of Mexico, just 30 years old, but he'll be fighting for the 45th time as a pro. His last one against Teofimo Lopez, who knocked him around, but Sanchez ready to get back in there, though, giving away a lot in height, Chris, to Herring.
Yeah, big fight for Herring, too, making his debut under the top-ranked banner. New trainer, just a whole new outlook. Lost 2 of his last 3 fights. He needs to win pretty badly in this one.
We went over the rules in the locker room. I want a good, clean fight. Protect yourselves at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you.
You know, I made the mistake, Wayne, during the press conference of referring to Jamel Herring as a former Marine. Didn't take too kindly to that. Once a Marine, always a Marine, he told me.
Semper Fi, that is the mantra. Always faithful that Jamel Herring lives by. The United States Marine Corps changed his life. Now hoping to change things in his career, beginning at Top Rank. Round 1 against Juan Pablo Sanchez. And Herring, another lefty, Chris. We just saw Fizey pull off the win, the southpaw. We'll see Lomachenko later. Here's another left-hander in Herring.
Yeah, look at the 2 fights Herring lost over the last 3. He lost them both in very different ways. He was outboxed by Ladarius Miller, and he was just kind of out-muscled by a smaller fighter in Denis Shafikov. So he's going to have to work hard to try to get back into the mix here.
Jamel Herring, a bit of a late bloomer in the sport, partially, of course, because of his career in the Marines. He also didn't really start boxing until he was 15 years old. Said he was turned off by it because of the portrayal in the Rocky movies.
Who gets turned off by that? What percentage of people that watched that movie loved boxing more versus were turned off by it?
I don't know, but if he can change, I can change, you can change too.
You had to go there. You went, okay. Lowest of low-hanging fruit, Wayne.
Sanchez coming in with a couple of lefts, followed by a right.
You see Herring trying to work that jab a little bit early. That's going to be key here. Shafikov, who was a smaller fighter, as I mentioned, he got inside pretty easily against Herring in his fight two fights ago. He's against another smaller fighter who right now is getting inside on him.
Denis Shafikov knocked off Herring in the 10th round of a 10-round fight. This one scheduled 8, couple of lefts, the left. A double up from Herring. Got a good shot in against Juan Pablo Sanchez. Herring has talked about working smarter, especially with regard to his training.
Good body shot there, hit him right in the solar plexus.
Went back to the body 2 more times after.
It's almost like we don't need Bomac here for the broadcast. We can hear him, the ambient noise ringside.
This place will be filling up as we go on through our card. Coming to you on ESPN Plus. A wonderful new app rolled out recently by ESPN. Jamel Herring fighting in his home state of New York for the first time since 2013. 1 round in the books against Juan Pablo Sanchez. Second round begins for United States Marine Sergeant Jamel Herring against Juan Pablo Sanchez.
You know, Herring's still having some problems keeping a smaller opponent from getting inside on him. He's got 4 inches of height there. You'd like to see him work that jab, maybe not get into a free swinging battle with a smaller fighter.
Sanchez backing Herring against the ropes. A few taps. Including one that might have hit the back of the head. Quick warning from our official, Tony Chiarantano.
Aim it 2 at his chest. There you go. Step to him. Come on. He's doing rhythm.
Might have been a quick headbutt there that got a piece of Herring. Shook it off to hit a left uppercut.
Herring's corner wants him to be a little bit more aggressive here, throw punches, step around, keep pressing the action. Right now, the action is not being dictated by Jamel Herring.
Now it's been Sanchez, the aggressor here early on. You can see Herring with that advantage in reach. He can really keep Sanchez away if he wants to. That headbutt early in this round seems to be bothering Herring slightly at least.
You okay? You just gotta pick it up a little bit more. You gotta get out of here.
It's an accidental headbutt, they said, but Sanchez did the exact same thing against Teofimo Lopez in his last fight in the second round.
Come on. Behind his dad. Behind his dad.
So the punches being thrown in this one, the more concussive shots are being thrown by Sanchez. He's netting some good, clean. That was a good shot by Herring.
A couple of lefts that rattled the jaw of Juan Pablo Sanchez. Herring came out of the break with the left, doubles up with the right. Sanchez staying stout early on.
Herring doesn't have concussive one-punch knockout power. He's got to put together his punch to put guys down. So you can hear his corner. They like to see him throw 2, 3, 4 punch combinations.
Herring's had 9 knockouts in 16 career victories. Jamel Herring did 2 tours in Iraq. Says there's nothing boxing can throw at him that he hasn't seen before. He's got through the first 2 rounds tonight against Juan Pablo Sanchez. Round 3 begins here at Madison Square Garden. Chris, one thing Jamel Herring says he wants to do more is work inside better.
Yeah, and he's trying to, but he's not dictating the action at all out there. You can hear his corner calling for those jab shots and to be more active, but you see, there's a shot right on that eye. He's got a cut there. You saw them working in that after that last round. Not sure if it was from a headbutt or from a punch, but it's not in a great spot, Wayne, just above that right eye on the eyelid.
And now it's opened up a bit. He's got blood pouring down the right side of his face.
You know where to keep that foot at.
He's going to have to fight through adversity to win this one.
There was an accidental headbutt in round 2. Now Herring has a cut. Adversity, that's something that Jamel Herring scoffs at in the ring.
He's been through far too much to be worried about something like this, but I just don't love the activity from him at this point.
Keep turning him, Mel.
He just looks a little like a step slow in the ring out there, whereas Sanchez, he just looks energized.
Well, Sanchez leans with that head.
Yeah.
He keeps knocking into that cut.
Hey, good right hand by Herring right there, one of his better punches of the night.
Here we go.
Have to feel like this fight could swing Sanchez's way if he works the right eye of Herring.
And Sanchez knows he's coming in at the underdog. He's going up against the guy top-ranked side. He's going up against a decorated Olympian. He has a sense of urgency. He's fighting Lennox early on.
Trading blows up against the ropes.
Double up. Double up. There you go. There you go.
That's some of the best pressure Herring's shown all night. Maybe that cut create a little bit more urgency in him.
He's hit a couple of clean lefts here in round 3, a right-left combo there, followed by a left hook.
2 on that left side, man. Come on. 2 on that left side. Over, under, over, around. You gotta go downstairs. 2 again, man. Get your come back. There you go.
Nice left uppercut. Yep, came right in.
Come back with that hook.
Sanchez has taken more punishment in this 3rd round than he did through the first 2. That right eye starting to get messy, though, Chris.
That cut is pretty bad out there as we watch the doctor take a look at it here in the corner. You can see the blood all over the chest of Jamel Herring. And as I mentioned, it is on the eyelids. That's not a good place for a cut to be if you're a boxer.
He's wearing white shoes, and his right shoe especially is starting to have a red film around the toes. That cut is looking gruesome for Jamel Herring.
Keep digging, baby. Keep digging.
With Brian McIntyre cheering him on from the corner.
Keep digging, baby.
Herring goes back to work for the end of round 3.
And you see the blood on Sanchez, and I'm looking at him, and I'm not sure any of it is his, even the stuff on his nose.
Yeah, I don't think any of it is. It's all over Sanchez, dripping down his back at this point.
Best round of the fight, though, for Herring. He was aggressive, forced the action. Terrific round for the former Olympian. He said a cut on his eyebrow. That's not something that, in normal everyday life, Jamel Herring is all that worried about. But a boxing referee, a boxing doctor, they'll be concerned.
We've seen Sanchez lead with his head a couple of times. We haven't really seen him hurt Herring with a punch. That might have been the first one to sting Sanchez.
I like some of the momentum Herring's built, getting more and more comfortable in the ring through these last round and a half.
Herring dancing a little bit more here in round 4. Almost as if the cut has woken him up in some way.
Come on, there we go. I need 2 of them. You gotta put 2 of them together, man, not just one. Come on, trust your speed, baby. Trust your speed. Underneath.
Sanchez tried to duck a right, got hit with it.
Good body shot from Herring there. He's going upstairs and down pretty effectively now.
There was a brush against the cut from the head of Sanchez.
Taking a long look at that cut, Wayne. It is a lengthy cut. It's gone from the middle of the eyelash of the eyelid, kind of all the way down to just be on the outside of it. And you can see the blood, even without much contact, already pouring down the outside.
Juan Pablo Sanchez, a crafty veteran. He hasn't won in a while. He's lost his last 3 fights. He beat Ever Ceballos in June of 2015. That was his last victory nearly 3 years ago.
Well, he's lost the momentum of this fight. Herring in the last round and a half has reclaimed that momentum. Sanchez is fighting a far more defensive fight than he fought the first 2 rounds.
Herring with a left followed by a right, back to the combos.
Watch your head in there, Mill, side to side.
Inside of a minute here in round 4 as Sanchez staggers a bit.
It's a great reaction from Herring. Gets a cut, and I'm not sure how many times he's been cut in his career. Certainly not how significant a cut like this was, but he has come out just firing since that cut.
A left, right, left, backing Sanchez to the ropes. Jamel Herring was defensive in the first 2 rounds. He's been on the offensive in rounds 3 and 4.
Keep touching it.
And it looks like he's took some of his spirit out of Sanchez these last 2 rounds.
A couple of lefts to the jaw, rocking Sanchez a bit.
Both sides of the body, Mill.
Final seconds of this round 4. Jamel Herring starting to distance himself from Juan Pablo Sanchez. Now to the 5th round for Jamel Herring. United States Marine Sergeant, 32 years old, against Juan Pablo Sanchez, the veteran from Mexico.
Saw the doctor take a long look at Sanchez after that last round. That's how significant a beating Herring put on him over the last 2.
Herring's been dealing with a cut over his right eye for the last couple of rounds. It seemed to wake him up, and he's been pounding on Sanchez ever since. Sanchez trying to fight back here in round 5, but he's taking some shots as well.
You know, Wayne, I like this style of fight. It's entertaining for sure. It's not exactly, I think, the fight that Bomac was talking about, when he's, lead with the jab, be more defensive. This is a Jamel Herring type of fight. If you watch any of his professional fights, getting in this type of firefight is a lot of what you've seen.
Herring could use a win. He's dropped 2 of his last 3 before joining up with Brian McIntyre.
Stay down there, Bill.
Freak, no punching. No punching.
It's been over a year since Herring won in Toledo, Ohio last February.
Push him. Push him. Here we go, Bill. Here we go.
Wobbled him there.
Up against the ropes, Sanchez could be in trouble. Big left, another, and this fight is over. Jamel Herring, in his home state, in his home arena.
That's what I'm talking about!
Back in the win column.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Anthony Chiarantano steps in and stops this bout with an official time of 1 minute 28 seconds of round number 5. Declaring the winner by way of TKO, Semper Fi, the Fighting Marine, Jamel.